Welcome, everyone, to Redox Nurse Talk tonight. My name is Cindy Reed, and my co-host is Doria Stewart. And we're excited that you're taking time out of your night tonight just to come and join us and learn about something that could change your life or change the life of someone that you love. And we're going to talk about a technology tonight that is pretty boring, but uh, I am a nurse here in Nashville, Tennessee, and Doria works as a nurse in the Atlanta area. And we started this Zoom or this nurse talk about a year and a half ago because we're so passionate about sharing this technology and helping people with their lives. So we're going to go through a few things tonight. First of all, the thing that you will hear about this technology is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure anything. It increases the cellular communication throughout the body so the body can do what it knows what to do and how to take care of itself naturally. We have a great guest on tonight, Cathey Painter, and Cathey is a board certified traditional naturopath, and we will hear her story later in the program, and Doria will be interviewing her. We will also open up the chat, and you can put questions in there, and Cathey can answer those at the end. But if you're new to this technology, you may not know what we're talking about. So we're going to show a very simple video. And the cool thing about this technology is that it's complicated, but yet it's simple. But it's even more simple to share it. So if you're interested in a business, you may want to check into this. All we do is press play and show a video. You don't have to be a medical professional. I mean, tonight, obviously, the three of us are, but anybody can do this business. Our top two earners are housewives with public high school diplomas. So anybody can do this. It's just having a passion for people and for your health and their health and just sharing the technology. So I'm going to start with showing, we kind of rotate the videos, but this is a simple cartoon video that we're going to show that explains how this technology works.
The human body is an extraordinary creation, made up of between 50 and 100 trillion cells, each one performing just the right function in just the right place at just the right time. Your cells themselves are amazing. Each one is a bustling metropolis of activity, a city that never sleeps. Every second of every day, your cells work tirelessly to keep your body healthy and strong. One of the major functions of your cells is the production of fuel. This fuel, known as ATP, is actually created by workers inside the cell called mitochondria. Mitochondria are so vital and important that a single cell can have thousands of these little workers. In fact, it is estimated that half of the dry weight of the human body is made up of mitochondria. Mitochondria do more than supply the body with the fuel it needs. They also play a key role in cell signaling and communication, coordinating the actions and activities of your cells. When you think about it, this kind of signaling is essential for health and life, since it is the foundation for things like cell development, tissue repair, and immune functions. Without the ability to communicate and coordinate the activities of cells, we would fall apart pretty quickly. The mitochondria's role in this vital communication system lies in the fact that they make special molecules, called redox signaling molecules. The mitochondria make these molecules by the trillions, every second of every day. Good thing, too, because without these redox signaling molecules, life itself would be impossible. You need these molecules to protect the health of your cells, to detect threats and damage, and to repair or replace injured cells. Unfortunately, as we get older, our ability to make redox signaling molecules diminishes. Ever notice that bumps and bruises that disappear in no time on a child seem to last forever on someone who is elderly? The cells in that older person simply aren't communicating as efficiently as they did when they were younger, and so cells and tissues take longer to repair themselves. And all because the body isn't making as many redox signaling molecules as it used to. But what if there were a way to replenish your supply of these amazing little molecules? What if there were, in essence, a redox signaling supplement? How would your life change if you had a supply of redox signaling molecules like you did when you were younger? Such a product would be incredible, but how would you go about making it? Well, a good start would be to understand how the mitochondria in your trillions of cells make these vitally important molecules. Your cells are little bags of salt water. The mitochondria and other organelles inside the cell float around in this salt water. It's not surprising, then, that when the mitochondria need building blocks for creating redox signaling molecules, they use something they have plenty of: salt water. It works out pretty great because salt water is made up of just 4 atoms: the sodium and chloride atoms in salt and the hydrogen and oxygen atoms in water. The mitochondria pull apart these saltwater molecules, then recombine the atoms in different configurations. The new combinations are, guess what? Redox signaling molecules. Things happen so fast inside the cells that these redox signaling molecules are manufactured in just fractions of seconds. And they get used quickly too. And if the cells don't need the redox signaling molecules right away, the atoms convert back into salt water, ready to be used again and again by the mitochondria. It's a very efficient system. So to make a redox signaling supplement outside of living cells, it makes sense to start with the same building blocks: salt and water. That's just what a company called ASEA does. We begin with a pure, pristine saline solution. Then, using a highly protected and patented electrochemical process, we break apart the bonds that hold the sodium, chloride, hydrogen, and oxygen atoms together. These free-floating atoms are then recombined in new configurations, and voila! Redox signaling molecules. Of course, the process sounds a lot easier than it really is. Your mitochondria make redox signaling molecules in fractions of seconds. ASEA takes 3 full days to make the same molecules. But the real triumph for ASEA came in overcoming the issue of stability. Remember that redox signaling molecules made in the cell get used right away or else turn back into salt water? That's because redox signaling molecules are very reactive. They want to get busy and start working right now. This reactive nature makes it difficult to keep these molecules around for long. They want to get used or they'll revert back into salt water. Fortunately, after countless hours of research and experimentation, the scientists at ASEA reached a breakthrough. They discovered a process for pairing these highly reactive molecules into balanced sets, stabilizing redox signaling molecules outside of living cells. This really is something extraordinary. Molecules that last just microseconds inside the cell have a shelf life of over a year in a bottle of ASEA. Amazing! So what does ASEA, the world's first redox signaling supplement, mean for you? Simply put, it's an entirely new approach to health. Every other health and wellness product, vitamins, exotic juices, everything, tries to help the body by giving it something foreign, something the body has to try to figure out how to use. Not so with ASEA. The molecules in ASEA are native to the body. See, your body already knows how to take care of itself. Your cells actually make the tools they need, and for the first time in history, you can replenish and reinforce those tools. You can, in fact, give your body more of the native molecules it needs to take care of its own health. ASEA is more than a mere supplement. It is a foundational approach to health and wellness, a fundamental shift in how we take care of ourselves. So are you wondering just what ASEA can do for you? There's one powerful way to find out. Talk to the person who shared this message with you. Get your hands on a case of ASEA and feel for yourself the effects of the world's first and only redox signaling supplement. Your life and your approach to your own health will never be the same.
Okay. So now, Doria, I'm going to let you turn this over to you and let you introduce Cathey, and we'll start with our interview. And like I said, you can put questions in the chat as Cathey talks, and she can answer those afterwards.
All
Doria?
right. Thank you, Cindy, for that. I love that cartoon. In fact, that's what piqued my interest when I first was the first video that I actually saw when someone piqued this interest with me. So Cathey, I had the opportunity to hear her at Pinehurst, North Carolina. I actually sat behind her, and I think Polk Dillon was sitting next to her. So I didn't have an opportunity to introduce myself to her. So I kind of reached out to her and asked her if she would be one of our guests on Redox Nurse Talk. So Cathey Painter is a board certified traditional naturopath and lives in Los Angeles, California. She just told us this evening that she's originally from Dallas, Texas. So you might hear that little bit of Southern twang there as she speaks. As a naturopath, she educates and coaches her clients so that they can make truly informed health choices. Cathey believes that healing and prevention must address the physical, mental, and spiritual. Cathey says when it comes to your health, knowledge is everything. She believes you must make your health a priority and do that. And to do that, you must fall in love with taking care of yourself. So what I'd like to do now is, I know we have a lot of people on the call, and some of you may not know what a naturopath does. So I want her just to kind of share briefly, what's the difference between a medical doctor and a naturopath?
Okay, well, first off, a medical doctor can treat, cure, diagnose. Now there's two kinds of naturopaths. There is a naturopath physician, and they have literally been to a 4-year medical school, and they can, prescribe medications. They can do IV treatment. And then there's the traditional naturopath, which, by the way, is the original naturopath. And you can really think of us as a health coach. We are a health educator. And so, when somebody comes to me with XYZ, I will educate them on how to navigate the system, because many people don't understand how it really works. There's Western medicine that is they are taught to use medications and surgery and that sort of thing. And then there is the naturopath that takes more of a natural approach and is looking at the whole person and looking at ways to improve health. I mean, optimal health. Once you get to optimal health, then the body can do what it was designed to do, which is heal. Okay. So that's in a nutshell the difference. I don't treat, I don't cure, I don't diagnose. I mean, everything that I present is educational. And I always tell my clients, I want you to take this information and I want you to do your due diligence and make your own informed decisions about your health, journey, your wellness journey. So that's really it in kind of a nutshell.
I appreciate that. So now I understand that you literally stumbled across a sea of redox. Tell us about that.
Well, I was, I guess it's been 2.5 years ago. I was in Pinehurst, North Carolina, across the country. My parents retired there, and it was my mom and dad's 60th wedding anniversary. So all the kids came in to celebrate, and I was in my dad's home office, which is kind of big. And I tripped over this box in the middle of the office, and I opened it up, and I knew it was something special. I knew in the back of my mind, I'd heard something about this, but I didn't know about it. And I just said, Dad, what are you doing with this? And he says, well, I just got it from my friend Polk, and I haven't even started drinking it yet. Well, I immediately did research, and I said, Dad, I've got to talk to this Polk guy. I've got to meet somebody that really knows about this, because what I'm reading is blowing my socks off. And so that's really how it started. And the deeper I got into this, the more I learned. I will tell you, I know without a doubt I was divinely guided to this, because that's I'm all about helping people. I've with my husband's journey, getting well from bad cells, that I helped him do that, to all the people that I work with in serious health issues, I mean, I'm here to help people, and I always ask for guidance. And so when I really took a look at this, I knew without a doubt that there had been divine guidance in me literally tripping over a box of this. And, you know, as it turned out, about a month or two later, there was the Pinehurst Redox ASEA event. And so I just got myself on a plane and I said, I got to go meet all these people. You know, I knew there was going to be a lot of medical people there and nurses and all sorts of health practitioners. I'm like, I got to get on a plane. I got to meet these people. And so that's really how it all started. And I could, you know, I can tell you things that I've witnessed in the last 2 years that, I mean, this is a game changer. I call it the most powerful health and wellness tool I have ever come across in my career. And the reason is because it helps any and all issues where your cells are involved. That's everything. That's everything. So.
Yeah. So can you expound? I know you said you did this research. So where did you look?
Well, I looked on Google Scholar, and then I got wind about, I found out about Dr. Zach Bush, who I had followed for a long time. And I came across one of his recorded trainings where he called ASEA let's see, I think he called it the greatest health science breakthrough of our lifetime. That caught my attention. Then I found out that Anne Louise Gittleman was talking about this. Now, she's huge in the natural health world. She's written many best-selling books. And the fact that she was talking about this really caught my attention. But the other thing that caught my attention, because I have been involved since 2014 in educating legislators on, you know, on medical freedom, basically. So what really caught my attention was that there were studies. The Torrey Lab study is what we call a gold standard study, because it's done by a third party, and because they used a control group that got nothing, a placebo group that got saline, which what is saline? Salt and water. And then the last group, of course, got the redox molecules. So this caught my attention because many people don't know there are medical products on the market that are even being mandated that do not have this gold standard study done. So that caught my attention big time. And then, of course, when I looked at the study and saw that 100% of the people that drink these molecules have a 21 to 31% improvement in the 5 key areas of health, that also blew my socks off, because I know that if a pharmaceutical company wants to bring a new drug to market, all they have to show the FDA is a measly 3% improvement. That's only 1% above the placebo effect, okay? So these things all caught my attention. And then, of course, as you dig deeper and you learn about the integrity of the company, the owners, I mean, wow. Wow.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's kind of to think that, you know, the FDA, I probably shouldn't say that, should I? On our Zoom, you
Yeah.
know, would accept that above what you just shared about that, you know, being
Yeah.
such, yeah, that
Yeah.
percentage. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Well, so how are you how are you using this powerful tool in your practice? Share some testimonies about that.
Well, you know, I will tell you, first off, I'm kind of well known for somebody that does a lot of research, and a lot of people send me people that have done everything. They've worked with the Western medicine, they've worked with the naturopath physicians. And so I get a lot of people that are just like, I've done everything and I am hoping you can help me. And the good news is, I mean, it feels amazing because I've got this amazing tool. So I'll tell you, I talk about this. Some of you have come to my webinar, but I will tell you right off the bat, I had two people that called me. One was a woman in Portland, Oregon. I did not know her, but she knew my colleagues, and they said, Cathey, they said, she told me that they said, you've got to call Cathey. Now, this woman was in a situation where her liver enzymes were up in the 900s, and she was working with a Western doctor, but everything he was having her do, the enzymes were not even coming down by one single point. And she was also working with a naturopath physician, spending thousands of dollars on IV treatment. And her enzymes were not coming down by even 1 point. And everybody was getting very scared. And she called me. I said, yeah, I do have something that I know will help you. Little did I know how fast it would help her. Now, she was in what I consider a life or death situation. So I quickly had her ramp up to drinking a half a bottle a day. 1 week later, she calls me in tears. Oh my goodness, my enzymes, this is a miracle. They went down by 150 points. The next week, another 150. The next week, every week after that, between 100 and 125, until they were down to normal. So, you look at that and you go, wow, yes, she was drinking a half a bottle a day, but before that, she was spending thousands of dollars on IV treatments and getting nowhere. This is when you step back and you go, this product is a bargain. It is a bargain. And it's an incredible tool to have on hand, not to just drink for prevention, but to have for emergency situations. So the other person, I got a phone call from a chiropractor, and she told me, she said, my mother took that experimental injection and now she can't walk and she can't sleep. And we went to our doctors and they threw their hands up. They had no idea what to do. Can you help me? I said, yes, I can. And because I knew, when you drink these molecules, the clinical studies show that your NRF2 pathway gets improved. Your NRF2 pathway gets the signal, if your cells are communicating at optimal levels, that NRF2 pathway gets a signal that, hey, there's inflammation in the body. You need to go to work. You need to, manufacture more glutathione, the master antioxidant, the master detoxer of the body. Well, and we know from the clinical studies that when you drink these molecules, there's an 800% increase in the efficacy of the glutathione that your body's manufacturing. So I knew this was going to help her. But again, I had no idea how fast. Now, she started drinking on a Monday. On Tuesday, she felt worse. And her daughter, being a chiropractor, was excited about that because it meant things were moving. But on the third day, she was able to walk again and sleep again. And by day 8 or 9, all those horrible side effects were gone. Now, as I look back on that, let me preface something. They didn't wait weeks, months, years. They called me within the week of this happening. So that's one of the reasons they had a very quick result, And so if somebody's had a health issue, whether it's chronic, annoying, or serious, they most likely have had it for a long time. So you've got to be patient and give these molecules time to work, a minimum of 90 days, a minimum. Now, I'm going to tell you another thing that has really helped me, because everybody's impatient, right? They want things to work now. So one of the things that I do with my clients, if they've been drinking these molecules for 10 days or more, and they're not getting the results they want or they're looking for, I will have them do the Flood Your Body protocol. Are you guys familiar with that? Where for 2 days in a row.
Heard of it.
Yeah. For 2 days in a row, you drink either a half a bottle, like on a Monday, and a half a bottle on a Tuesday, or even a full body bottle on a Monday and a Tuesday. And you spread it out in small doses throughout the entire day. this has really made a huge difference for a lot of my clients. It's just like you give them time for their body to, start acclimating. And, the main thing is we don't want them to have a detox, what I call a disruptive detox effect. That's why we don't start out like that. So I have them drink, the right amount for their age, for the first 10 days, 2 weeks. And then if they say, well, I don't feel anything. I don't, I'm not, whatever. All right, let's flood the body. And I'm going to tell you every single time there has been a noticeable improvement. So, but back to my client list. I mean, I've had people that come to me and go, I just don't have any energy. I don't know what's wrong. Nothing's showing up in my blood work, nothing, and we get them on these molecules. And I always get a phone call. Oh my gosh, I've got my life back. It's so simple. You drink 2 to 3 ounces twice a day. No food or water 5 minutes before, 5 minutes after. You don't have to prepare anything. This protocol is so simple and fast that anybody can implement it. So it's just been an amazing tool. Now, I've also seen young kids that have issues focusing. They start drinking this and their teachers call the parents. I don't know what you're doing different, but I'm seeing a change. I'm seeing a change, or a child coming home and the parents don't have to hover to get homework done. Anybody that's been in that scenario knows that that's huge. That is huge, let's see. I have seen, I actually have a family member who had bad cell issues that had spread. And he'd been drinking this for about 2 months when the doctor says it's time for a scan, and gets the results back. And the doctor's kind of scratching his head going, well, this is interesting. Those bad cells that had spread are not showing up on the scan. And then a year later has another scan, and the doctor comes in and says, you're a miracle patient. We don't see bad cells anywhere, not even in the original spot. A miracle patient. And but that's not a one-off experience. I mean, there are people experiencing those kinds of things all over the world. And so it's just, you can tell I'm very passionate about it because, I really would never want somebody to suffer due to a lack of knowledge. If somebody has an issue and they don't know about this, I mean, they're suffering without knowing. I mean, it's a terrible thing to think that somebody can get results with something, but because they don't know anything about it, they're going to keep suffering.
Yeah,
So,
it's so important. I mean, we have a gift to share and we don't want to hide it under a bushel, so to speak. It's really important.
yeah,
Even if you're rejected and people think you're crazy and this is snake oil and you
right.
know what you're talking about, we still have that obligation. It's really a mission and like you're so passionate about it, and I know Cindy as well, but you have to share this, and what they do with it is really up to them,
Right.
you know. So I just want to go back about the detox. So I call it a healing crisis, and it's a good
Yeah.
thing that they're going through that. So again, you're tapered, that you start them off slow. If they're going through the detox, you have them kind of decrease their dose. And
Well,
then
yeah, I mean, if somebody is having a detox effect, number one, I want to make sure that they're drinking plenty of water. That's number one. If you're drinking these molecules and you're not drinking enough water to completely help those toxins exit the body, yeah, you're not going to feel so great. But I mean, I will tell you, I've only had 2 people that have had major detox effects. One was somebody that had such a high rate of mercury in their body that the company called us and said, we can't even measure. It's off the charts. And then and so I started him off literally on half an ounce twice a day, and he did fine. But another woman forgot to tell me that she'd been diagnosed with lead poisoning. And a week later, she calls me, she goes, I feel terrible. I'm like, okay, well, let's go back and look. Oh yeah, by the way, I have lead poisoning. And so what I had her do is I had her stop drinking the molecules and only apply the Redox, the Renew 28 topically to her liver. Now she could still feel that lead leaving her body by doing that, but I had her do that for a couple of weeks, and then we reintroduced the molecules, and the head pain went away. I mean, it was just incredible what happened for her.
Yeah.
And
So
again,
you
she was
did- Go ahead.
she was
I'm
working
sorry.
with a medical doctor that, she wasn't getting any results from, but boy, these redox molecules, she got results.
Yeah. I want to backtrack a minute. You were talking about kids. So we know this is non-toxic, works at the cellular level. So what is a dosage that you would start out on a child?
Well, for most children, it depends. Like if somebody's really small, I might start them out on 1 ounce twice a day. If it's a new baby and there's problems, you might just apply the gel to their feet. You might just spray the liquid literally on their chest and their tummy. If it's a child that is, 7, 8 years old, I might go ahead and start them out on 2 ounces twice a day and have them stay there. But, I've also worked with children that have the spectrum issue, and we'll start them out on 1 or 2 ounces twice a day. But then, when we get down the road a little, I might have them do the flood the body because it really makes a difference. And again, we're looking for results in that situation. Parents, want results. And then, if they're a teenager, then they can take the amount of an adult, 3 to 4 ounces twice a day. And depending on the health situation, they may need more. I mean, sometimes I work with people that have major issues, and I will tell them, we need to ramp you up to drink as much as you can possibly afford.
Yeah, that's good. So you already brought up about the gel, which is the
Yeah.
Renew 28, which has what, 2 or maybe 3 or 4 times more molecules in that tube. Talk about how you use that.
Well, okay, first off, I mean, I'm just like everybody else. I want to age gracefully. And so I'm using that gel on my face and neck morning and night because it's the most anti-aging product I've ever come across. And by the way, before I became a naturopath, I wrote the Ageless Beauty Report for 8 years. So believe me, I've looked at everything that's out there. So that's one way I use it. Now I also use it, because I'm using it on my face and neck, but over my thyroid. Our thyroid needs extra help. There's a lot of toxins in the food that we eat that our thyroid grabs onto. So I like to, pay extra attention to my thyroid. I also apply it to my liver every morning and every night. And, your liver's your biggest organ. And I tell everybody, look at go Google the liver so you can literally see where it is in the body. Because I am applying it, front, side, and back, morning and night, because we live in a toxic world and I want to help my liver. I want to support my liver to gently detox every day. And, one of the things I always say as a naturopath, if you're not gently detoxing every single day, you are accumulating toxins. And over time, we know that toxicity can lead to disease. And then, of course, anything that hurts, you apply the gel, anything that hurts. And, my mother was having a hard time with her hands being so stiff. It was really sad. I'm like, Mom, why didn't you tell me? And we sat there and we applied that gel 3 times in 5 minutes. When you are experiencing something that is stiff or hurts, the magic formula is apply 3 times in 5 minutes. And of course, today, my mother no longer has a problem because she's doing it proactively. She's applying it to her hands and massaging it in every morning and every night. I mean, that's a game changer for my mother. She wasn't able to even do her own hair because her hands were so stiff, but now she can.
Yeah, it's amazing. I most recently was a vendor at a festival, wellness expo. A lady had severe stiffness in her joint that kind of just stayed like that.
Yeah.
And we put just the gel on, a little blueberry size of gel on her finger one time, and she was able to straighten her finger out.
Wow.
Now, how does
Wow.
that happen?
Wow.
How do you explain that?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. It is amazing.
So I know that you also have some experience with our clay mask, which has the bentonite clay and our active redox signaling molecules. So share with us how you use that.
Well, again, I use it a couple of times a week on my face, but I will also have my clients, if if let's say they have a knee that constantly hurts, well, they can also get results by applying that mask to the knee, and you can just sit in the bathtub or wherever and let it dry and then rinse it off in the shower and then follow it with the gel. That's another great way. Now, I also will recommend, if somebody's got a tumor or a cyst, apply that mask topically twice a day. And then, of course, you follow it up with the redox molecules. If you get a bug bite, I mean, I will tell you guys, over the 4th of July weekend, we had a bird's nest on our deck, and all the birds flew away. So my husband and I, we carefully took it down, put it in the trash because it was a mess. What happened? Fleas jumped on us. So I was putting that mask on those flea bites. Makes a huge difference. Huge difference. So any bites, it's really great for that too.
Yeah. So tell us about the bentonite clay. Why do you think they put the bentonite clay with the redox signaling molecules? What's the mechanism for that?
Well, bentonite clay, first of all, this I've known about bentonite clay for years. In fact, I've always have a big bag of it, on hand. It comes from Wyoming, and for at least the last 150 years, people would travel from all over the United States and some from other parts of the world to go to this place in Wyoming and literally slather the pascalite clay, the clay on them. And, the clay, first of all, the clay draws toxins out of the body. Now, it's also got minerals and things like that in it, which are very healing, but it draws everything out. And so that's why this mask is great, whether it's a bug bite or it's a cyst or a tumor. It's literally drawing things out, and then it's delivering those redox molecules as well.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, I have one other question because I know Cindy's gonna have some for you. So, we talk about the building materials, nutrition. We have some great nutraceuticals, a C of B line. It's important to hydrate, have minerals. Why is it important to add the redox signaling molecules into the mix of that?
Well, first off, you can do everything right. You can eat right, you can exercise, everything can be great. But if you are deficient in these redox molecules, then your cellular signaling is not optimal, and therefore your immune system may not be getting the message of what the problem is. And if it doesn't get the message, it can't utilize all the great tools that you're giving it. And, I learned that personally. I had an issue where acid was coming up in my throat. I used all my naturopath tools, nothing was working. I broke down and went to a Beverly Hills gastroenterologist, did all his medications, all his testing, nothing worked. Then fast forward a year later, I find out about these molecules, and I'd been drinking them for about 2 weeks when I noticed, oh my gosh, I hadn't had acid coming up in my throat at all. And that's when I realized the missing link for me was that I was deficient in these molecules and my immune system was not getting the message. But when I corrected that, boom, I got the results I had struggled to get. And all it was the redox molecules. And, make no mistake, you definitely need the other side of this. You need the molecules for cellular signaling, communication, but you also need the nutrients. You need the nutrients, the minerals, because that's the building blocks of your body.
Yeah, I'm just going to say one more thing, Cindy, and I'm going to let you take over. But I'm a gastroenterology nurse. I work as in the recovery room.
Oh, wow.
And it's definitely a conflict of interest, but there's so many people that are dealing with just the same thing that you were dealing with. so
Yeah.
many people, young and old, from age, we see them from age 14 and
Mhm.
up. And then of course they're and they give the medications for that, but a lot of
Yeah.
those people complain that that's not really helping them very much, even with an altered
Right.
lifestyle of not drinking coffee and eating chocolate and you know
Mhm.
even doing all that. So it's just really disheartening that I can't share that with
I
them.
know.
Yeah.
Well, let me just tell you one other thing. The mood drink. The mood drink is so incredible. And, this kind of goes hand in hand, but most people don't even realize how stressed they are in their life. I mean, I always say, if you're late to work, you've just started your day being stressed out. What does the body do? The body, the adrenals will release cortisol to help you, get through that stress. But then that cortisol damages, if it's constant, it damages, including digestion. So anyway, but I will tell you that mood drink is so amazing. If you are stressed, you are overwhelmed, if you know you suffer from adrenal fatigue, it's an incredible, incredible tool. Incredible. I even have my own husband going, I'm sitting here doing this paperwork. I'm stressed. Go make me a mood drink, please. Because he feels the difference. I mean, I would say, 15, 20 minutes, you're going to feel better.
Thank
So,
you. Thank you.
mhm.
Turn it over to you, Miss Cindy.
Okay, you covered a lot of my questions. I'm just excited to
Okay.
have someone on that's natural minded and open
Uh-huh,
to technology and to share all the stuff that you've shared, Cathey.
uh-huh.
That's awesome. And my passion is like yours and Doria's. We just want people to listen and to be open
Right,
minded and to realize you are your best advocate for your health, not your doctor.
right,
Your doctor
right,
can't really know how you're feeling and really doesn't know everything out there. I mean, none of us really do. But the key is just to keep doing your research like you've done. So how
right.
long have you been in ASEA or taking the product?
About 2.5 years. About
Okay.
2.5 years, yeah.
And in that time, has this business, we're going to talk a little bit about the business side, has this afforded you certain things you might not would have been able to do had you not started doing this?
Well, absolutely. First of all, let me just say, as a naturopath, I'm not getting rich being a naturopath because I mean, I spend a lot of time with my clients, and I spend, the way I work is, people will, I'll usually talk to them for 15 minutes. They'll tell me what's going on, and so I will do research before I meet with them, and then I spend an hour with them, and then I do follow up, and so anyway, this has given me a second stream of income so that I don't feel that, oh my gosh, I've got to pack my day with 10 clients and work myself to the bone. It's really been a great way to add a second stream of income.
Someone did put in the chat, what tool do you like to use when you share this with someone who's never heard of Redox?
Well, there's the 4-minute video that I usually use. Now, I will tell you, I'm on social media, I'm on TikTok, and one of the things that I did that's really made, and I'm happy to share it with you guys, I put together a free redox molecule report. And so, when somebody signs up for my newsletter, and that's how I also, entice people to sign up for my newsletter. You're going to receive my free report on redox molecules. And so it's a quick read, but there's links. There's links to videos. There's links to discover ASEA. And so that's one of the ways that I do it. And then I also have my own webinar, and I will invite people to come to the webinar. And I will say, look, I've got something that I know could make a big difference for you, but you need to hear about it. It's a whole new category of health. And if you're open-minded enough to take a look, you come to my webinar. It's 30 minutes long, and you'll get enough information to decide if this is right for you or not.
Do you
So,
find a lot of people are negative about this or not interested in looking at it?
well, no, not really. I mean, first of all, most people are coming to me because they know I do research, but every once in a while I'll get people I mean, I had somebody very, very well known that was skeptical. I'm like, how could you be skeptical? There's third party studies right here. And, you know, I'll tell you what my mother told me a long time ago when I first became a naturopath. I was just like trying to help everybody. And, you know, she's like, look, Cathey, you can't save the world. You can only help those who are open-minded enough to receive the information. And that's really the position we are in with these redox molecules. Now, I will tell you, I've had people sit back and watch me and go, wow, you know, there must be something to these redox molecules because it's 2 years later and you're still at it. I'm ready to take a look, you know? So, so yeah, but I just think, you know, when you introduce it to people, look, you know, you are coming at it as truly wanting to help somebody. But if they're skeptical, there's not much you can do. There's not much you can do.
That's true. It's
Yeah.
like we talk about a lot of times. People are watching us and they may not be open when we first introduce them to this, but they
Mhm.
do come back. I've had a lot of people come back and say, hey, I think it's time. I think I'm ready to try that now.
Yeah.
So we just keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah. Keep
There
doing what,
was,
yeah.
go ahead. I'm sorry, Cathey.
No, I was going to say, you guys, I really believe that, I believe we are on the precipice of there's just going to be one turning point, when people are going to really start to hear about this. I think we're very close to that right now. I do, because of a lot of things, but I will just say that.
I was looking for my book. So I don't know if you've heard, I'm sure you're familiar with Dr. Mark Hyman.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So he just released a new book earlier this year. I think it was earlier this year called um, Young Forever.
Mm-hmm.
And also it's on Audible. So I've been listening to it as I'm driving to see my family. And he does mention, I can't remember which chapter, maybe chapter 6, he does mention redox signaling molecules.
Oh,
So it is
interesting.
coming around. And I think Tony Robbins, he in his book Life Force, he
Mm-hmm.
mentioned there's a section in there he talks about redox signaling. So
Yeah.
all the big guys are hearing it. They may just not know about the product, but
Yeah.
they are hearing it. I mean, the fact that we have a product, but they
Yeah.
realize this is a technology or this is something out there that is real and it does affect our health. So yes,
Right.
it's getting more and
Yeah.
more um, commonplace, or will be
It
eventually.
is. It will be. It will be.
There was one quick thing. Marita had asked about the video that I showed tonight. I just went to Google and Googled a Sia cartoon video,
Mm-hmm.
Marita. That's all I did. And it pops up.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. And I
Hmm.
think Betsy put in there quick draw Redux.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
you can Google several things and it'll usually pop up. Are there any other questions?
I just have a comment maybe to say this is, there's a lot of these IV drip bars that are kind of popping up on every corner. Like it seems like wherever there's a oh, like I'm trying to think of the name of the breakfast places down here in the South, is a
Oh
Waffle
yeah.
House. Wherever there's a Waffle House, there's an IV drip bar everywhere. And the concern that I have, which I share and educate to people, a lot of them are getting, of course, vitamin C drips, but they're also getting IV glutathione. And the
Mhm.
concern, and I don't know if I'm right about this, but I know that glutathione is a very large molecule, right? And
Mm.
I was wondering, how much when people receive IV glutathione, how much is actually being absorbed in the cell?
Well, I mean, this is what I will say about glutathione IVs and really all IVs. When we're talking about, these things that are popping up, and believe me, we're seeing in LA as well, and like vitamin C and the Myers cocktail and the glutathione. And first off, your body, that is not something that you can really do often. I mean, even if you did it once a week, that I am concerned that becomes too much on the body. Okay. Now glutathione IVs, now in naturopath school, we learned that glutathione supplements are really a waste of time and money. That your body cannot really utilize them. We did learn about the power of glutathione IVs, but the results only last for about 24 to 48 hours. And what I love about drinking the molecules is that every time I drink them, I am getting a boost of glutathione in my own body, but it's from the glutathione that my body is manufacturing, which is, the body can better utilize. And so, the other thing about these IVs, they're expensive. They are expensive. Nobody can afford to do this. You'd have to be very well off to do this on a regular basis. And I personally believe you're going to get better results by drinking the molecules. And of course, it's a lot more cost effective.
Right.
Yeah.
So Dr. Lee also talks about, and then I think, and of course, we've seen it where the keys on the piano. I mean, there's a lot of modalities out there. You got red light therapy and you got acupuncture, and of course, your herbs and things like that. And those are all indirect approaches that actually will help stimulate redox signaling molecules. But our active redox signaling molecules that are native to the body work directly into the cell,
Right.
So,
right.
yeah.
Cathey, I do have one more quick question. So,
Sure.
what do you say when people say this is expensive?
Well, I do say, we have to invest in our health, because getting sick is a lot more expensive. And I can tell you from firsthand knowledge with family members and clients, and you either invest now or you might have to, sell the house later. I mean, quite literally. So, but there's two kinds of people. I mean, there are people that wake up and realize, oh my gosh, I've got to start taking care of myself. And then there are people that just deny.
And I've heard stories of the cost that people have spent on some of these therapies or some of the other treatment modalities, like the traditional, if you have the bad cells, can be
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
And this could be just the cost of a cup of coffee every day. And how
Right.
many people drink coffee out from,
Oh,
outside of the home?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
It's
it's
all,
doable.
yeah, it is doable. It's all where you place your value,
Right.
So,
Well, Cathey, we have 31 people on the call tonight. This is
wow.
also going to be uploaded to our YouTube channel, which will send you that site as well.
Okay. Thank you.
And so there's a lot of people that go to that channel and they will listen to the recording. So I'm going to let you close this out. So what would you say to these people, both from a personal side, health-wise, to the opportunity? What would you say to them?
Well, I would say that, this is an incredible opportunity. 40 years ago, nobody knew about antioxidants. Of course, everybody does today. Wouldn't you have liked to have been on the beginning of that wave? Well, scientists are telling us the next 40 years is going to be all about redox molecules. We have a tool that everyone needs, everyone can benefit from. There's zero toxicity involved. You can take this alongside any medication, any medical procedure. It's an incredible opportunity to first and foremost help your fellow man. And I also just want to, in closing, tell you, after when I first stumbled literally over the redox molecules at my dad's mom and dad's house, I came back home, and the first person I called was my friend that's a chiropractor. And I'm like, oh my gosh, do you know about this? Have you heard about, oh my gosh. She goes, yeah, 5 years ago, I had an issue where I was so dizzy, I couldn't work. I went everywhere. Nobody could help me. And then somebody said, you should try these molecules. And she goes, got rid of it in a couple of weeks. And I was like, are you kidding me? You didn't tell me about this. So don't be that person that withholds this from somebody you know. I think about, that was a 5-year period. I think about all the people that I could have helped, all the people that I could have helped with serious health issues and with prevention. So this is something very special. Everyone deserves to know about it. Nobody regrets learning about it. So you've got something very special on your hands. If you are new to this, get with the person that invited you tonight. And if you need more information, they can help you get more information. They can also help you start benefiting by drinking the molecules.
Thank
This is
you.
awesome, Cathey.
This is awesome. Thank you
There
so
was
much.
there was one more thing in the chat real quickly. Fritz was
Hmm.
asking about the Redox report that you used. Is that something you came up with? Is that
Yeah, yeah.
shareable?
Yeah. I will, I'll send it to you guys
Okay.
and then you can share it with whoever you
Okay.
want to share it with. Okay.
Okay.
Great.
We can do
All
that.
right.
Thank you, Cathey. This has been awesome. And like I said, I get
You're
excited when we have
Mhm.
like-minded people, which we usually
Yeah.
do, obviously, but still
Right,
just to
right.
be in the field yourself, doing alternative therapies for people and their health. This is just amazing. So we appreciate this so much.
You're very, very welcome, you guys. And yeah.
Thank you. So Cindy, who do we have on for next week?
We have Sandy Jones from Happy Valley, Oregon.
Hmm.
So she will be on next week, and I'm sure she will have a great story. We meet people all over the place, Dory and I, as we go to some of our meetings, or if we just
Mhm.
meet people and we hear their testimonies, and that's what we pull a lot of our guests from this
Mhm.
list.
That's great.
So we're always open. If anyone knows of someone that might have a good testimony, send
Okay.
us the name, and we have a long list going forward that will eventually get to everyone.
That's great. That's great.
But thanks everybody from coming, and we will upload this like Doria said, and then we will see you next week. Let me go ahead and stop the recording. I almost forgot that.
And then if anybody wants